Hello, I'm Stuart Barker, the ISO 27001 Ninja, and in this tutorial we continue our dive into ISO 27001 Clause 9 Performance Evaluation, focusing today on ISO 27001 Clause 9.3 Management Review. So we're going to go through what Clause 9.3 Management Review wants, the definition. Then I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step guide how to implement it so that you can get maximum success when it comes to your ISO 27001 certification. So, management review in the 2022 update to the standard. It hasn't technically changed. The requirements of the standard haven't technically changed, but the definition has, and it's made a little bit more clarity. So if you've been doing management reviews to date, you're probably going to be okay. I'm going to talk you through it and you can check against that. But it's just a slight change in wording. So let's go through what that definition is. Then let me show you how you're going to implement that and let's get you successful. So let's dive straight in. ISO 27001 Clause 9.3 Management Review. Broken down now into sub-clauses. So we're going to look at 9.3.1 General. Top management shall review the organization's information security management system at planned intervals to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness. 9.3.2 Management Review Inputs. Right, so this is a change now. What it's talking about is the inputs into the system. And let's go through what that looks like. So the management review shall include consideration of the status of actions from previous management reviews, changes in internal and external issues that are relevant to the information security management system, changes in needs and expectations of interested parties that are relevant to the information security management system, feedback on the information security performance, including trends of non-conformities, corrective actions, monitoring and measurement of results, audit results, fulfillment of information security objectives, feedback from interested parties, results of risk assessments and status of risk treatment plans, opportunities for continual improvement. Now, 9.3.3 Management Review Results. We had the inputs, now we've got the outputs. The results of the management review shall include decisions related to continual improvement opportunities and any needs for changes to the information security management system. Documented information shall be available as evidence of the results of the management reviews. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a deep dive into that. The first document that I'm going to start you off with is the management review team meeting agenda. So what we're going to do is we're going to put together an agenda. That agenda is going to follow the requirements of the standard. It's going to satisfy a number of different things by guiding us and leading us through in each meeting the requirements that we need to cover. And it's also going to generate for us that documented information, that documented evidence that those reviews took place. So the management review team meeting, we're going to record in there the attendees. So you're going to have a meeting agenda, whether you're taking this ISO 27001 meeting agenda from the ISO 27001 template store at hightable.io, or whether you're stopping the video and pausing it and typing it in, typey, or whether you're downloading the template, creating it yourself, however you're going about it. But we need to record our attendees, right? So we're going to have our attendees, the name, the title or role or the area that they're representing, and whether or not they accepted or attended the meeting or not. We're going to have our meeting date, our meeting time. We're going to have our meeting location, whether that's a remote meeting, a Teams meeting, a Google meeting, whether it's in a physical boardroom. We're going to have the meeting location, and we're going to provide the details of how people are going to access that. We're going to have a contents table that looks at new agenda items, existing agenda items. The structured agenda is defined by the standard, our information security objectives, and documents that are relevant to this particular meeting. What you can see as we create our structured agenda is it maps directly to the requirements of the standard. So we're going to record and have minutes of actions from previous minutes, the changes in internal and external issues, the non-conformities, the corrective actions, the monitoring, the measurement of results, the audit results, the fulfillment of information security objectives, the feedback from interested parties, risk assessment, status of the risk treatment plan, opportunities for continual improvement, and any other business. So we're directly mapping the requirements of the standard into a structured agenda that we use in our meeting, and we record the minutes and we document that for documented evidence that the meeting took place and what the results of that meeting were. What you can see that I have done within the template that I provide for you is also I include the information security objectives so that we've got an ongoing update of where we are against those. So what we're putting in is what is the objective, what is the measurement, and what is our status against that. This comes with the standard objectives that are included in the information security objectives spreadsheet that we provide, the overall objectives, and satisfy the requirements that are in the information security policy, where the objectives are also recorded and distributed to staff. So you're going to see that you have your agenda. You're going to see that you're going to minute the meeting and you're going to minute the meeting minutes. What we also have and what I also provide for you is there are other videos on this on the YouTube channel, but I also have for you a step-by-step how to conduct a management review team meeting. I'm going to go through this document now, so if you want to skip ahead you can, but I'm going to go through the document how to conduct a management review team meeting. So you've got your agenda, but how do we do our meeting? So we've got our standard contents tables as you would expect within there. What we're going to start off with is ISO 27001 clause 9.3 management review. So our process document is going to talk about what the requirement is. So let's go through that. Let us take a look at what the ISO 27001 requirement is for a management review before we step through the process of how to conduct a management review team meeting. The ISO 27001 standard wants us to conduct regular planned reviews of our information security management system to make sure that everything is working as it should. It is a fundamental part of the management system, and as such it actually ticks a few of the ISO 27001 boxes. In particular, it addresses clause 9.3, management review, and it is one of the mandatory documents. The output and results of the meeting is a record of decisions made and the changes that are needed. It is a requirement to keep copies of the meetings as evidence. It does have a structured agenda as per the management review team agenda template, and in brief it covers the tracking of objectives, the monitoring of results, risk management, continual improvement, and audit results and feedback. When we're going through how to conduct our management review meeting, there are a series of steps. Some of them are going to be no-brainers, right? You're going to go, well, that's clearly obvious. But we write them down so that we have a documented process, and for people that are new to it, we help them and we step them through how they would go about this. The first step that we're going to take is deciding on the management review team attendees. Okay, so who's going to actually be at this management review? And it is a question I get asked a lot. So the management review team attendees are documented in the roles and responsibilities document. You've seen other videos about where we're allocating roles, where we're allocating responsibilities. I'm not going to cover that, but that is where they are documented. As a guide though, ideally you want as a minimum one representative from each area of the business and one representative of senior leadership. The management review team has oversight of the information security management system, risk management, and continual improvement. The exact responsibilities are documented in that roles and responsibilities document. But for now, decide who will attend. Decide how often to have a management review meeting. It's recommended that you have a management review meeting every month. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I talk to this. This allows you to effectively manage, especially in the first year of an implementation. And it is suggested that no less than every 3 months, being at least 4 meetings a year. So in my advice is you have a management review meeting every single month, up to and including your audit, and ideally the first year of running this as well. So many benefits of doing so. The next thing you need to do is you book your meetings. So it's good practice to set your meetings at the beginning of the year. Be sure to book your meetings several weeks in advance to assure availability. What I like to do is I plan 12 months in advance, and I like to schedule those meetings in the calendar, same time every month, so everybody knows that they're there and they've got the placeholder in there. But your worst case scenario is book a couple of weeks in advance. Meetings can be conducted remotely over web collaboration tools such as Zoom or Teams, or meetings can be booked face-to-face in a meeting room, whatever works for you, right? Whatever meets your culture. If you do book a meeting room, make sure that the room has a display screen that can be seen by all attendees. A lot of the things that you're going to go through require sharing of documentation. Easy to do on a Teams call, harder to do in a meeting room unless you have that screen. Then we're going to look at our meeting duration. We're going to book a 1-hour meeting slot. On average, a management review meeting will take around about 45 minutes. Its time is really based on how often you have them and the operating that you have in place. In time, as you establish your information security management system and that the operating rhythm gets more efficient, then the time that you take will reduce. It isn't a massive burden and a massive overhead. And if you overrun, though, additional meetings can be booked. Prepare for the management review meeting. Create a subfolder in your document storage for the meeting. Collate the latest copies of the required documents for the management review meeting and place them in that subfolder. So these are copies of reports, copies of audit, copies of the risk register, so that you've got that baseline. Ahead of the meeting, suggest 5 working days in advance. Share links to the latest version of the documents with the invitees. Allow people an opportunity to review the documents before the meeting. Note here, confidential documents that you have should not be shared via email, clearly. Okay, so your normal access control and your normal confidentiality rules apply. Consider your audience and the format that they want to see the documents in. You may require printouts, although this is discouraged, but if you're required, get them prepared in advance. Ensure that all of the documents are up to date and all the previous actions are up to date, and ensure people know if they are due to report back, what is expected of them and in what format. Create your agenda. Use the agenda template, the management review team agenda template, and complete the agenda and update the sections as required. Send the invite to the management review team. The management review team that are documented in the roles and responsibilities document. If you haven't already sent out the invite to them, then send out the invite to them. Send out the invite to any guest attendees. Oftentimes you will have guest attendees either presenting something to you, reporting back on risks, reporting back on risk treatment plans, continual improvements. Make sure that they have the invite to the meeting. Run the meeting. The meeting requires a chairperson for the meeting, somebody that's going to keep everything on track. So decide on who will chair the meeting. The default is the information security manager. The meeting requires minuting. Decide on who will minute the meeting. The default is the information security manager. Work through the structured agenda that is within the template, and then agree and confirm the date of the next management review meeting. Send out the minutes. Within 5 working days, send out links to the meeting minutes to all attendees. Update the documents. Update appropriate management documentation based on the outcome from the meeting. Documents that we consider that would require an update. Action logs, risk registers, incident and corrective action logs. There's a lot to go at there. A very detailed guide on management review. So in summary, you've seen that we have a management review agenda. That management review agenda allows us to record and document and minute our meetings. And we have a structured process about how we go through and we conduct those meetings. Management review meetings are not hard. What is hard is getting people there. But the meetings themselves are not hard. And as time progresses, they become faster and faster. You will become more efficient at them. So don't fear the ISO 27001 management review. My name is Stuart Barker. I am the ISO 27001 Ninja. And for today's tutorial on ISO 27001 management reviews, we are done. So until the next tutorial video, peace out.